Well, good morning, girls and boys. It is Mr. Baird here, the Pastoral Care Chaplain. Now, today, I've spent a little bit of time doing some acting. That's right, I've been doing some acting. And what you're going to see in just a few moments' time is me having a big word here, a dialogue, a conversation. Now, this conversation, while it's made up, it's not exactly real. It is based on real thoughts and real feelings. So, spend some time with me and let's watch the following conversation between someone who's a little bit worried and their counsellor.
I'm so nervous and worried about going back to school in a few days' time. I wish there was someone that I could talk to so that they could help me.
Well, good morning. I'm the counsellor. I'm the person who can help you. It sounds like you're feeling a little bit worried and a little bit afraid. Could I ask what you're feeling worried or afraid about? What are you fearful of? Yeah, I am feeling nervous and a little bit worried about going back to school. You see, I've been learning from home for many, many weeks. I've been with my mum and my dad, my brothers and my sisters. I'm just, I can't even remember what school's like sometimes. So I'm a bit worried about having to line up on the first day. I'm a bit nervous about leaving my mum and my dad. Are they going to be okay? And I just, I forget what it's like to play with all my friends in the big playground. There's always so many of my friends running around, and I think I'm feeling a little bit afraid about that. So I'm just a bit worried about the transition from going from learning at home to learning at school. I was kind of wondering if you could give me some advice. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that with me. I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling a bit worried, but I was wondering what kind of advice would you like me to give you? Um, I think I'd like some advice on how to be courageous. I would like some advice on how I cannot miss my mum and dad so much. Like I said, I've been with my mum and my dad for so many weeks now, and I'm really worried that something might happen to them if I'm not home. So, and I just need some courage, and I need to know that mum and dad are going to be okay. And I'm a little bit worried about seeing all my friends. Well, look, thank you for sharing that with me. You know what? I'm going to take a few moments and I'm going to have a think and I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you advice. I hope that's okay. Okay, now that I've had some time to have a think about how I can help my friend, I'm ready to give him some advice. Now, the first thing he was wondering about, the first part that he wanted some advice on, was how he could be courageous. It sounds like he's worrying a bit about the first day back or even the first week back at school. And he wants to know how he can be more courageous. Now, I wonder, do you know what courageous means? I wonder if you know what the word brave means. It means confronting his fears while trusting in God. You know, one of my favorite verses in the Bible comes from Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Now, Joshua, he was a very courageous person. Joshua was a very brave man. And you know what? He was leading some people that were fearful. He was leading people that were worried. And he gave this advice. Read with me. This is from Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. It says, "This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Isn't that so important to remember, girls and boys? That when we're feeling a little bit worried, that we can be courageous because God is with us. So if you're feeling a little bit worried about that first day back, about lining up out the front of your classroom, about seeing all your friends, you can remember to be courageous because God is with you and God loves you. Now, on to our second bit of advice. Our friend before, he was a little bit worried about leaving his mum and dad. Now, I can completely understand that because for many of us, we've been learning from home for a long time. And for most of us, I know not all of us, but for most of us, mum and dad have been working from home. So they've been able to sit by your side nearly every day to help you with your schoolwork. And to be honest, even as a counsellor, I love my mum and my dad, and I would absolutely love to be with them every day. But we also have the great privilege, boys and girls, of going to school, being with all of our friends and our great teachers. We have great teachers here at Heathdale Christian College. So even though we've been at home for a little while, and mum and dad, we've enjoyed their love and their support, I think we can be excited and courageous to go back to school. You know what? Come 3:15, 3:15, maybe even 3:30, or I know some of you catch a bus. You'll see mum and dad at the end of the day, and you can explain to them all the marvellous and wonderful things you've learnt at school. We've had a really good time learning from home with mum and dad, but now we get to be back with our teachers and our friends. So I think you can be really excited that if you feel like you're going to miss mum and dad for a little while, you can be sure that you'll be seeing them very soon when you get home, and you can share with them all of your projects and all of the hard work you've done. You can share with them all the fun things you've done at recess and at lunch. And you know what? It's okay to miss your mum and dad or anyone you love when you come back to school. Here's some advice. Maybe before you come back to school on your first day or your first week back, you can print out a photo. Get mum and dad to print out a photo of them, and you can put it in your pocket or in your pant pocket. Or maybe your mum and your dad can write a little or draw a little love heart on their hand, and then they can draw a little red love heart on your hand. And every time you look at it, you can be sure that you're in their heart and they're in your heart. So that's some advice. Now, on to our third point of advice that our friend wanted. They were a little bit worried about seeing their friends. Now, I think it's been really good that we've been able to see our friends on Teams, on our computer. But I know for a certainty that I really want to see my friends face to face, in person, and not just on a computer screen. So I think it's normal to feel a little bit worried or a little bit uneasy about finally seeing our friends face to face, sitting next to them in the classroom. But once again, you can be courageous and you can be full of joy that you can actually be with your friends again. Now, if you are still worried when you get to school, maybe you can talk to your teacher and just tell them, I haven't been around such a large group of boys and girls in a long time. Can you please help me? Maybe you can put your hand up in class and say, can we play just one more game so I can get to know my friends again? But if you're worried, pray to God that He will give you courage and that you'll be brave. It's going to be so good to see all your friends in person, face to face, in the playground again in just a few days' time. So that's my advice for my worried friend before. I hope he's feeling all right. So thank you so much, boys and girls, for joining me for a devotion today. You know what? Before we go, I would love to sing a very quick song that I just made up about all these things. You sing these words with me if you can. When I am afraid, I will be courageous. When I am afraid, I will be courageous. God loves me. God loves my family. God